For those of you not familiar with Autocad at all work that you do with Autocad and Autocad Mechanical should normally be done in the Model tab here. And then when you go to your Layout tabs, what you do there is set up your sheet, your title block, your viewports and so on, so that you can view scaled views of what's actually in the model space, the Model tab here. Now, what we're going to look at very briefly is how the Model tab works. Now what I've done here is set up a blank metric drawing using the metric setting in the Startup dialog box. How do I know that? One of the first sanity checks that you do is look down at your coordinates bottom left corner here. As I move around, you can see the crosshair moving, you can see the coordinates change. And as you can see there, look, I'm moving around and the coordinates change as per the position of the crosshair. We're using a coordinate driven system. So we're using X and Y coordinates. You'll notice there's a 0 there in the coordinate readout that doesn't change. That is your Z coordinate for when you work in 3D, 3 dimensions. Now, I've got a new layer set up, so I'm going to go to my Home tab on the ribbon, Layers here, and when I click there, you can see, look, I've got Objects, and I've also got the default layer, Layer 0. You can't get rid of Layer 0, but I want Objects to be the current layer, so I click on the word Objects. Notice there's a lot of tools here for working with layers in Autocad Mechanical. We'll move on to that later. Okay, so I'm using the Objects layer. All I'm going to do is draw a rectangle. Now it's just going to be a bog standard rectangle. Okay, so when I click here, rectangle there, draws a rectangle using a closed polyline, and it's asking me for the first corner point. Now what I really like about Autocad Mechanical 2010, you get these little symbols here. Look, can you see that? That little symbol, rectangle, with the little dot there, bottom left corner. So it's saying specify first corner point. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to type in my coordinates. I'm going to make sure that my number lock is on, like so. And I'm going to type in 50, and then the comma key, and then 50. So the first corner of my rectangle is 50, 50 in the coordinate readout on the screen. I press enter, and that starts there. Now, as I come away, this is what I love about dynamic input on AutoCAD. Dynamic input has been around since AutoCAD 2006, and as you can see, as I move the rectangle, it gives me the sizes of my rectangle. So there's my side. So I want that top side, see the blue there? As I move the horizontal distance, I want to be 250. So I'll type in 250. If I just press the tab key on the keyboard, it tabs me to the other Y direction on the rectangle, and I want that to be 150. So when I press enter now, that's done. I've got a 250 by 150 rectangle. That would be metric, so let's say metric millimeters. So it's 250 millimeters by 150 millimeters. Look at how easy that is to do. AutoCAD Mechanical also has a lot of other rectangle tools. Look, if I click on the flyout, I can draw midpoint of base rectangle, for example. I can also do a midpoint of the height. I can also do a center. So it uses the center of the rectangle as the start point, and you then specify a corner. So that's really rather clever when you think about it. So let's draw another rectangle. I'll use the center option, and I'll pan across now. There's my little symbol showing the center. And as I move over there, you'll see my object snap kick in, which is my endpoint snap. If I left click on that endpoint snap now and move away from it, look, you can see my rectangle starting to take shape from that center point I've selected. And as I move away now, look, it's the same idea. I can type the distances in the boxes. So in the X direction that's highlighted there, 50.99, I actually want that to be 50 from the center. I then press the tab key on the keyboard. And I also want it to be 50 vertically from the center, so I type in 50 there, and I press enter again. And as you can see there now, I have a rectangle with equal sides, in other words, a square, and that is actually 100 this way, remember, and 100 this way, because I've gone from the center, 50 along that way, and 50 down that way. So as you can see there, using AutoCAD Mechanical and using rectangle commands available only in AutoCAD Mechanical, you can create rectangles in a much quicker and much more effective fashion. The whole idea there is that you're using mechanical tools in a mechanical environment to be more productive. And the bottom line is you're more profitable working on a mechanical project like that.